So, good morning, almost noon everyone. So hopefully you are not getting hungry right now to join my session, alright? Actually, I think I may complete this session faster because Viettel team already introduced a lot of concepts to me, right? So first, I think we are on the same page that we are in a trend of moving to the cloud, right? So I would like to share in the three majority topics, right? So the first one is gonna be the challenge or security awareness once you move in your application to the cloud. And the second thing is how was your design and security defense line? What is the challenge once you need to deploy the security defense line? And last but not least is how can us or Radware ourselves help you to secure your application once you move to the cloud or any cloud, right? So I'd like to start the session now. So first, the attacks are now on the daily news all around the world, right? So you can see the cyber attack news everywhere in the online source, Japan Times, or any kind of the source on the newspaper happen more and more often, right? So let's getting up more closer. I just try to do a little bit of research on the Vietnamese market, right? So actually, no one is currently involved. So you can see I capture on this cyber attack trend is on the rise, captured in the quarter 1 of 2022. Right, the Authority of Information Security has do some of the recorded that 9,700 cyber attacks has been announced, and it is increasing 42.4% comparing to the 2020 to 2021. Another interesting use case is found there are a lot of fake sites or phishing sites has been increasing about more than 2,000 to 3,000 in the years of 2020 to 2021, right? And the third one is the commonly attack that usually happen in these past 2 years is the supply chain attack. Usually right now, once the developer try to develop application themselves, they are not totally develop everything by themselves. Sometimes they are getting the toolkits from the supply chain vendor, right? Same as what the information that CD.net is observed. So the government agency try to provide the toolkits, and that software toolkits has been exposed at the vulnerability. So once the private company or software leverage this kind of toolkits, and then the software can be breached as well. Maybe it's not a cost from the application developed by themselves, but instead it's costing from the third-party tools, right? So once we have awareness that there is no one is immune right now, right? So what kind of attack we might need to aware of? I do some capture the statistical from the Google, right? You will see from 2013 to 2022, the cloud scale of the DDoS has increased significantly. Right? You can see the exponential growth on the right-hand side. It's about 10 times in this past 10 years, right? And once we break down into the attacks, right, you will see three majority target points that the attack try to target. So the first one, once you think about the DDoS attack, you may think about a large volumetric attack which can saturate your internet pipe, right? So once your internet link is getting full, so you don't have anything to do left, right? So that is not just only the one cause that can cause the failure to your application system. Another cause that, from my experience in these past 3 to 4 years, the attacker not try to just saturate your internet pipe, because sometimes the service provider can mitigate this for you, right? So they try to change the technique. So maybe they lower the volume to passing through the detection system and attack by the packet per second instead, right? So once the packet per second is getting more volume, so it will be let the security device or network device or stateful device consume more resources. And at the end of the day, that the kind of the device may be saturated of the resource and cannot operate it at the end. Right? So this is a target. Another of the DDoS attack, this is targeted to the security device, right? And another thing is attacked by the request per second. Once the attack is reaching or destined to the application server, so it will consume more resources in the application server itself. So that's the three kind of resources, and the significant increasing is happening in the packet per second and the throughput wise. So not just only the volumetric attacks. So within the Radware ourselves, we have a team called the emergency response teams to do the research, right? We also providing the cloud security as a service. So we are seeing the attack is significantly increasing from the 2021 to 2022. About 194% has been increasing. 84% of them is coming from the web application attacks. I think most of the organizations already aware of this kind of the application attacks already, but they're significantly increasing that most of the organization is not recognized is the bot transaction. Because right now, if you see the increasing of the volume is about 167%, maybe the information itself inside of the detection line in the organization may not be possible to detect the bot behavior. So once you don't have the technology to detect against or distinguish between the behavior, who is the real human behavior, who is the good of the applications, who is the bad at the bad application. So this means you open the attack surface to letting the script or bot actor to do anything in your infrastructure. So this is a major actor that even the OWASP try to underline that you should have the security defense line to distinguish between the bad one or good one, right? So once we have the awareness, right, what is the challenge in terms of the security defense line? So first, we are moving the application development trend from the monolithic application. So the traditional application will host a lot of the feature function itself in the bigger applications, right? So usually this kind of application will host locally, right? So since it's host locally, you have the web tier, application tier, and database tier host locally. So you have the physical control, logical control, network access control. And basically the client just send the contents composed to the web server and browse and render just only from the web server on the web browser. So the traditional apps is controlled by just only the single point of the entry. So the traditional web application firewall or the API protection is sufficient to protect this kind of the applications. But the challenge of that kind of the architecture is that it's not so agile in the business agility. So the developer try to make the application more agile to answer to the business trend, right? So the microservice trend has been introduced. So once the microservice application is getting smaller and smaller, so it can distribute it into any kind of infrastructure. Let's say the application can be hosted inside of the Kubernetes infrastructure, containerized environment, or sometimes they are using the public cloud as the development stack. Maybe develop it in the public cloud and deploy in the private cloud. And sometimes, as I said earlier, sometimes the totally application is not just the tailor-made develop all 100% of the functions. Sometimes they are using the third-party library to make the application can do the analytic function, for example, right? So this kind of the modern design create a multiple entry points. So this must be secure. And the true fact is that the traditional web application firewall is not sufficient to provide a defender line. Right. From the many research, especially from what Viettel already introduced many information to us, right? We see 99% of the application now at least they have the one public cloud. So the trend is certainly that we are moving to the cloud, right? But right now the fact is that the pace is not certain. So what is the cause that makes this pace is not certain? This is because of, you can see that 69% of the exposure inside of the organization has been experienced. So this is kind of the security exposure that it can be a doubt into the organization that if they are moving to the cloud, how can we handle with the security awareness once the architecture has been changed? So the 4-point and bullet that you need to maintain about the security challenge is that first, the priority once you migrate the security protection from the on-premise that you can control everything to the cloud. It is totally different concept, right? So once you're moving to it, sometimes you just rely on just only the negative security model. This means you just have a signature set and block based on what the technology knows. But the fact is that the negative security model cannot be handled with the zero-day attack. So this is the big question: how can, once you move the application to the public cloud or any cloud, how can you maintain a negative security model across with this kind of challenge, right? The second thing is that you move the traffic to the cloud and you move to other infrastructure. Since the tool is different, so this means that the protection line is different as well. The quality is different as well. And the third thing that you need to aware of is you will have more. If you have more and more cloud infrastructure, then you will have more and more components to be taken care of. So you need to handle with more log and reporting format by yourself. And again, you will have no centralized management across each cloud platform. Then you will need to think about how can you manage each kind of system if you consume more operation resources. So what is the existing option that you can take in order to provide the application security right now, right? So first you may think about the CDN-based, which included web application security inside. But so the beauty thing of the CDN-based cloud WAF is they can provide a cross-cloud protection. No matter your application is, even you're in the AWS, Azure, or private cloud, the CDN-based cloud WAF can inspect the application for you. But the problem is the quality of the protection, and you still need to reroute the traffic. Right? So what about the native IaaS? So in every public cloud platform, they will come out with the security features set to the users, right? So it is built in the stack, so no routing chains, it is local latency. But the problem or the question is, how was you handle or you control with the security features set inside of the native tool? Because sometimes they are not born to be the security vendor, right? And last, what's about if you are the security vendor who offering the virtual app base, which you can deploy anywhere. So it's good because it can deploy in any kind of the infrastructure, no routing chain, local switching. But the problem is that you still need to have the higher resource overload, right? Because you need to take care of the platform, software, resources until the security operation. So since you have many things to take care of, so what about the operation resources or technical expert skill? Right now, according to ISC research, or don't need to carry about the researchers. So everywhere, every part of the world is very hard to find a cybersecurity engineer. So since the resource can be shortage, so the consequence is you have more application to be handled because we are in the digital transformation trend, right? You have too much traffic to handle. You have too much data. Then the misconfiguration will be occurred. Right. This is the statistic that Viettel already provide, right? So you don't have enough time to provide the log analysis. So if you are under the auditing, you may need to spend another day, 2 days to review the log and do the patching by yourself. This is a bigger challenge that you may facing with, right? So to us, we are quite clear about what is happening all around the world. So that is why we provide the concept of 360 application protection. So what we can do is, no matter your application is a web-based API or the mobile application, no matter where your application is deployed, it is in private cloud, AWS, GCP, Azure, or the containerized, we shall have the security protection set, which can provide the set of the protection, can secure you against the vulnerability DDoS attack, definitely, right? And also the web attack, bot attack. And we can identify behavior very deeply in terms of the bot, right? And the supply chain attack, even the attack try to compromise your client directly, we still have the solution embedded in our single purpose to protect you against the supply chain attack. And node bad protector, API, and as well as the cloud trend, right? So we are the one-stop shop, right? Our web application firewall, we have the platform even on premise based or the cloud based, and the point of the solution is we can cover the OWASP top 10, fully OWASP top 10. This means we can cover both of the negative security model. We have day-to-day daily signature update set that can make you guarantee that you have the up-to-date signature set to secure you the upcoming threat. Together, we are relying on the PCI DSS, so we are emphasize the user to using the positive security model as well. So the positive security model is that you try to we have the engine in the cloud engine or the out platform engine can learn the behavior of the application and binding the proper parameter or the proper access control. The application by itself, it can do the automated learning, right? And create the policy by itself. So this is why, since we are leveraging positive security model or using the whitelist model, so we can provide the zero-day attack. Right? And the next thing is within the composition suite, we are providing the client-side protection. So if you are aware of the supply chain attack that try to compromise the software development toolkits, right? So if the software development toolkits or the third-party kits that has been compromised and is already deployed, then instead of the client side try to send the attack directly to the application itself, so this one can be protected by the web application firewall usually, right? But if you are under attack by the supply chain, maybe the client don't even send the traffic to the application directly, but instead it's sent to the malicious side that the third-party software, the compromises third-party software try to embed the source code with. So if you send the sensitive data, for example, to the malicious side, and then that can be problematic. So within our cloud web application firewall, we can provide the solution set to cover the client-side protection as well. Right. The third bullet that we are providing the solution is the API protection. Definitely, most of the web application firewall can do the passing to the API, JSON, XML, validate the schema. This is the one basic feature set that every web application firewall vendor did, right? So what we are offering more, we try to emphasize the positive security model again to put it inside of the API protection solution. So what we can provide is within our API protection, we can do the automated discovery, the schema for you. So let's say mostly once the developer develop the application, they will create the API specification to let the other software know how can they integrate into this system, right? So if you think, if we don't have this kind of specification, what will we do? So this one, we will automate discovery and we can write it into the OpenStack format and you can export it to use it with the API gateway solution. It's a complementary solution, right? For the backbone management, we are accurate to detect a sophisticated one. We are comply with the OWASP automated threat top 21, right? So we are providing the guideline, logging and blocking the backbone detail by ourselves. And last but not least is the layer 7 DDoS protection. So we are maintaining application availability from the cloud layer 3, layer 4 until the layer 7 attacks. Right now we have a globally 12 terabit per second global capability to handle with the DDoS protection attack, which is the largest DDoS attack we can handle. Right. So last but not least, right, that is about the architecture support. I do have some use case according to my region. So basically we have the solution to do the native redirection. So once we're talking about the cloud solution, mostly we need to redirect the traffic to screen from the cloud. But we have some use case that some of the customer, especially for the public cloud customer who using the serverless computing, mostly at the edge. Sometimes they will write a lot of source code inside of their edge computing. And sometimes it will be really very hard to migrate that serverless computing source code to the other platform, right? So they don't want to redirect the traffic outside and losing the CDN capability from the public cloud. So what we can do offering is we can integrate it with any kind of the cloud platform, even it is AWS, GCP, or Microsoft Azure. We just providing the API-based security part. Basically, just like using the function inside the CDN to trust the API with our cloud and sending metadata for ourselves to scan, and then we just return response. So the traffic don't need to redirect, everything still remain in line. No need to route it, no need to change the routing, no need to share the certificate. So you don't need to share about the integration of your current system. So this is a current solution that we are providing, right? So to sum up, this is my last presentation slide. What is the Radware Cloud Application Protection offering? So we are offering the best of suite consolidation solution vendor. We are best of it to any kind of the cloud infrastructure, any public cloud or private cloud. We can integrate with any kind of infrastructure, right? The second bullet is we do the automate automation inside of the platform. Our engine itself can do automation by ourselves, as well as we do have the fully managed services, fully managed service. So you are not the one who experience with the attacks. So once you do the attack, once you under the auditing, you're just passing the report to us, and then it is our job to help you to passing through the event. And lastly, we have the integrated centralized management to grant you the visibility to do the further analysis and do the patching inside of your organization, right? So I think that is all for my session.